This interview is being tape recorded. I am PC Mayo, attached to the Case Progression Unit at Wandsworth Police Station. We're now in interview room 1 at Wandsworth Police Station. And I am interviewing. If I could ask you to state your full name for me, please.
I was given an appellation.
And what's your surname?
I don't have one.
Okay. Gentleman being interviewed, and his custody number is 01WH 80 of 2011. There are no other persons present in the interview room today. The date is the 8th of January 2011 and the time now is 18:34, so 18:34 hours. Let's write that down. Okay. This interview is being tape recorded and it may be given in evidence if your case is brought to trial. Just before we begin, I will remind you that you have the right to free and independent legal advice. You can speak to a solicitor in private at any time of day or night, and this legal advice is free. You can speak to a solicitor in person. If you do not want to speak to a solicitor in person, you can speak on the telephone. Hang on. If you do want legal advice, or you want your solicitor present, the interview can be delayed unless certain exemptions apply. Do you want to speak to a solicitor?
I want lawful advice, not legal. So I will state that I'm litigant in person.
Okay. Would you like a solicitor present in this interview today?
I do not want any type of legal advice. I would like lawful advice. The rights are being abridged.
Okay. Would you like to tell me why you do not want legal advice, and you're not obliged to give me any reasons if you don't wish to?
My rights are being abridged. If I accept legal advice, my rights will be further abridged.
Okay. And are you quite sure that you do not want to speak to a solicitor in person or on the telephone before we begin the interview today?
I've advised the sergeant on duty that I would like to speak with my counsel, my advisory team, and I've been denied that right also, so there's no need for me to seek legal advice when I have lawful advisors.
Okay. I understand the counsel that you refer to is not a legal representative and not a solicitor, is that correct?
Lawful representation, and they're not even here to represent, it's advice. It's purely wanted my counsel for my advice.
Okay,
simple. Every man is due counsel.
Right. Am I correct in saying that you have said no, that you do not want to speak to a solicitor before we begin the interview?
I do not want any type of legal advice. I'm a litigant in person.
Okay, no problem, thank you. Before we begin, I will remind you of the caution, which is you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand what the caution means then?
I'm obliged to understand it.
Okay. What if I explain it
I'm
to
asking you a question. If you answer that question first.
I wanted to clarify if you understand.
I'm asking if I'm obliged to.
Not necessarily, no.
No, I don't understand.
Okay. I'll break it down into 3 parts. First part is you do not have to say anything. That means you do not have to answer any of my questions if you don't wish to. Okay. The second part is it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which will later be while in court, which means that if you choose not to answer my questions, but you later give an explanation to court, if indeed it goes to court, they may draw an adverse inference as to why you haven't given an explanation at your first opportunity. Okay. And the final part is anything that you do say may be given in evidence to the court if it goes to court at a later date. Okay. Does that make sense?
I still don't understand.
Have you got any specific questions around the caution that you would like me to explain?
No, I'm just not obliged to understand, which is why I say that I don't understand. Legally, understand means to stand under. I do not stand under anybody's jurisdiction.
Okay. Well, as I said, I will remind you of it again, and remind you of one other thing first, is that at any time during the interview you wish it to be stopped so that you could speak to a legal representative, solicitor, that can be arranged for you, and you just need to ask. Before we begin, I also will remind you again that you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. If you have any questions around that you would like to ask me before we start, please feel free to do so. Okay?
Do you understand that?
Okay.
Do you understand, is my question, that
the caution?
What are you imposing upon, do you understand what you are imposing upon me in this interview right now, yourself?
This interview is your opportunity.
No, I'm asking you, that's a yes or no answer.
Pardon?
I said that's a yes or no answer. Do you understand what you're imposing upon me in this interview? Are you choosing to administer justice, like the full administration of the law, or are you telling me about legalities, legislation? Because if we're dealing with the law, I do not understand, and for I'm on the record, why I cannot have lawful representation or my lawful counsel, which is advisory team, telling me about legal. Do you understand the difference between legal and lawful?
There is a difference between what you're asking for and what is provided.
I'm asking if you understand the difference between legal and lawful.
Daniel, this is your opportunity to comment on and to give an account for your actions for which you were arrested today.
And I stand up on my right to not answer any question that's not tantamount to help to my freedom.
Okay, that's okay. As I said, you have the right not to say anything and not to answer my questions if you don't wish to. Okay, that is available to you. Alright, I am going to ask you a series of questions. If you choose to answer no comment or not to give me an answer, that is obviously your choice. Remind you that if you decide not to, no, not at all. If you choose not to answer a question, but you later give an explanation to a court, if indeed it goes to court, then the court may question why that is the case, and that's just all I need to tell you about that.
The court is at number 3 in the pecking order.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this afternoon.
God, man, government.
Yeah. Then this afternoon you were arrested for 3 different offences. The first one was on suspicion of taking your motor vehicle without consent, and that was at 12:30. The second one was at 10 minutes to 1, which was for assault on a constable, PC man, with the intent to resist arrest. And the third one was at 3 minutes past 1 this afternoon, which was for possession of cannabis. Okay, that's what I intend to interview you about today.
You're telling me I'm getting done while I'm in the police station for assault on a police officer. How does that work?
No,
How does that work?
I will take each part of this.
Explain that to me. No, we're in an interview. You've given me 3 things.
Yeah, and I will work my way through
12:30. Yeah,
that's right.
At 12:30, I should. If you're saying I was arrested for TDA, why then was I not further arrested for assault at that time?
You were further arrested shortly
afterwards.
afterwards.
At 10:02 when I'm in the police station. I haven't assaulted anybody in the police station. I
but it relates to that.
I haven't assaulted anybody at any time anyway.
Right. Daniel, I still intend to ask you questions about it, okay? Now, the first thing I
don't have the right to ask you a question. Is that what you're saying?
You don't actually. If you wish to ask me a question, I'm more than happy to try and answer it. I'm not suggesting...
And I will stand up and ask any question that I feel that
well,
I need to.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
I would like for the interview to go on, because obviously I'd like my freedom.
Okay.
It's under duress. I have a right to understand or overstand what is going on here.
You're being interviewed in connection to the 3 offences for which you were arrested earlier today.
And this is what I'm saying. So you don't have a statement from somebody saying that I was in possession of their vehicle. So what does that got to do with now?
I do, from the police officer who stopped you.
No, they've gone to my girlfriend's house and have taken a statement of her to the effect that I was in possession of the vehicle. Any confirmation that she gave about me and who I am, that is neither here or there. Because all that the police officer stated to me when I was arrested is that he believes I'm driving a vehicle that doesn't belong to me. So all they need to do is go and check whether that vehicle has been reported stolen, or if it is in the possession of whoever it needs to be in. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
And that has been done. I don't understand why.
And I do not
understand now why you're still telling me about TDA then.
Yeah, I will ask you some questions about that, okay? And then you can give me an answer if you wish to, okay? First thing is, I understand you were driving a Honda Civic with the registration of Lima Sierra 03 Uniform Bravo Delta, which is LS03 UBD, this afternoon when you were first seen by officers at approximately 12:30 p.m. Okay, shortly before 12:30 p.m. Were you driving that vehicle?
No.
Okay. Whose vehicle is that? Who owns that vehicle?
You know who owns the vehicle.
Okay.
I'm not stopping anything from furthering because the police have the powers to know who owns the vehicle.
Okay.
I do not need
I'm
to
asking you who owns
anyone.
No, that's alright. I'm asking you who owns the vehicle. Do you own the vehicle?
I was in possession.
Okay. But do you own it?
I was in possession of it.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. And that vehicle you're in possession from, is that correct? The Honda Civic with the registration
No,
LS03 UBD. Okay. You're in possession of the vehicle, okay? Confirm that.
No.
Do you own that vehicle?
Stand upon my right to not answer that question.
That's fine. Yeah.
Ownership is possession. Possession is ownership.
There is a
Check it out.
difference. Did you have?
No, there isn't. Check the dictionary.
Did you have the owner's consent to use that vehicle?
I do believe that you have that information already, so I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Were you using that vehicle for your or another person's use?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay, that's fine.
When you say vehicle,
were you driving?
I see conveyor, like I was travelling in conveyance. Simple. That's the most I'm going to say about it.
Were you driving
I just said travelling.
the Honda Civic VRM LS03 UBD this afternoon?
No. I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
So, not driving the vehicle. Okay. Were you on a public road?
Stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay. When you were driving that vehicle, who had given you permission to drive it?
I've already stated that I was not driving. Yeah? So I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay. And if I'm correct, you're refusing to tell me who gave you permission and when they gave you permission to drive it?
I said I believe that you already have that information. When I spoke to my advisor on the phone, when I was actually given a phone call at 6 or whatever time it was, they informed me that the police had been round to whoever's house they needed to go round to, yeah? And why I stated like that is because, I'm just stating like that because you should know what your colleague's job, what they've been doing. They've gone round to whoever they've need to go round to and got a statement to the effect which confirmed I had consent to have whatever I had in my possession It's as simple as that.
Okay, that's fine. Can you confirm what type of licence you hold?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay. And was anyone else in the car with you whilst you were driving it this
I stand upon
afternoon?
my right to not answer that question.
Who was in the car with you this afternoon, if indeed anyone was?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
If there was anyone else in the car, what type of licence did they have and how long have they
I
held
stand
it
upon my
for?
right to not answer that question.
When you were driving the vehicle this afternoon, did you display L plates on the vehicle?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
And your licence that you do hold, what does it entitle you to drive?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
And the vehicle you were driving this afternoon, was it manual or automatic?
I don't know. I stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay. Why did you make off from the police officers this afternoon?
That's a false statement. That is a false statement. And you
Okay.
need to clarify what you mean by that.
I will clarify that.
That is a false
You were
statement.
first seen on Beechcroft Road shortly before 12:30 this afternoon. Okay. Then you turned, I understand, onto Burntwood Lane, where you made off at speed and turned right suddenly into open view and drove at speed. Okay. After you had seen police officers, initially, I understand, at Beechcroft Road, that made
Can I
eye
ask,
contact
was the
with you.
law broken at whatever speed I was travelling at?
The speed limit in
Can I
that
ask you, was a law broken at whatever speed I was travelling at, and was a registered, was there a speedometer that registered whatever speed I was travelling at? Also, for them to say I made off would deem them to have tried to attempt to stop me for some reason.
Did
Which
they do
didn't.
that?
No, they didn't. So how could I make off from officers?
That's
That is
what
a
I want to
false
clarify.
statement.
I want
Yeah,
to clarify
they
that.
followed me. Simply, they followed me. So that is a false statement.
Okay.
I do
Can
not
you
want any
confirm-
false statements entered into or on the record
Can
by
you-
anyone.
Can you confirm what speed you were doing
I stand
when you were
upon my
being
right
followed
to
by the
not
police?
answer that question.
Okay. So, do you agree or disagree that you were doing in excess of 30 miles per hour, which is the speed limit in that area?
I stand upon my right to not answer that question. If they can confirm or deny that with a speedometer, then let them do so. Yeah. Also, where is the car registered to? Yeah. Where is the car registered to? I took that. People wanted to be civilized and do their jobs appropriately. That officer could have got the information that he needed instead of trying to tell lies about me. What was his statement?
Right.
I
I'm going to
split
ask you a
off.
series of
Could you repeat
questions.
that statement, please?
You have turn into a number of roads in that area. You've gone from Beechcroft Road, Burntwood Road, right suddenly into Openview Road. You've turned right at the end of that road. The officers had to try and catch up with you, needing to use their blue lights and sirens in order to catch up. They've turned into Winefleet Road, I believe. You've made off at speed into Garrett Lane. You've then turned left into Penworth Road and then right into Merton Road. What I do notice about those roads is that you have changed directions a number of times.
How can you change direction? Listen to what you're saying. Yeah? Let me give you a map. I'm a London road map, yeah? I've been driving these roads ever since I was a young child, travelling on them, should I say, not been driving, travelling on these roads ever since I was a very young man, yeah? Very, very young. Bam. If I play a football match with children in Tooting Beck, and I would like to go to Merton Road roundabout, and I know roads that cut out traffic, Tooting Beck, you know, Beechcroft Road is Tooting Beck. Burntwood Lane is the road that leads to where? Garrett Lane. Garrett Lane leads to where? Southfields, Wandsworth. Yeah? Why do I need to drive straight on the road to take the longest route to get somewhere, travelling straight down the road? If you travel in a straight line, yeah, in a direct straight line, it's the longest route. It's the shortest route. Yeah? So my straight line would be turning left, turning right, turning left, turning right to get the shortest route. Yeah? It's nothing about invading anybody, getting away.
Is that why you turned a number of junctions in quite quick succession when you were being followed?
Stand up on my right to not answer that question.
Okay.
You've got the explanation on the tape there.
That's okay. It's not a problem.
Taking the piss, mate.
No, not at all.
No, not you. But like you still. Look how it's part. It's people. You're all the same. You're all the same. None of you ain't different.
That's right. The police followed you along, as I said, those range of different roads, and you've just given me an explanation as to why.
You know? I tried to change direction. You lot don't know nothing, man. That's stupid.
Now, I understand that you did eventually stop on Merton Road for the officers. Can you tell me why you stopped in the middle of the road rather than pulling across to the side of the road?
I had no idea. Why are they stopping me for? Why were they stopping me for? I don't know that they're stopping me. It's police with blue lights on. What do you do when police with blue lights on? You stop so they can go around you. Is that not correct?
Okay. Is there a reason that you stopped?
Is that not correct?
Yes.
Right. So that's what I've done.
Is there a reason that you didn't stop in the middle of the road? Sorry, that you stopped in the middle of the road.
I don't need to explain anything else. Police was behind me. They flashing. I thought they wanted to go past. So I stopped so they can go past. Simple. Is that not the safest thing to do? If police are driving behind you.
Normally
you stop.
Out of their way so that
no, there was cars and that in front of me. There's cars to my left, so I stopped so they can go around me. Okay. Everybody stops for police. Is that not what happens? Okay. When police flash their sirens, do not everybody stop for police? Yes or no?
I was asking you.
Yes or no, though? I'm asking you something.
Yeah,
Thank you. So don't try to make it like I've done something that I shouldn't have done. Right. Yeah, you're trying to make allegations or something like that.
I was asking why you stopped in the middle of the road instead of the side of the road.
There was cars around me, to the left, to the right. What? If there's sirens, I don't know who this officer wants to talk to.
That's okay.
Why should I think he wants to talk to me?
That's why
I'll stop my car and let him go around me. They're repeating the question. Come on.
When you did stop for the police and the officer approached you and knocked on your passenger window to speak to you.
No, he didn't knock on the window. Yeah? Okay.
That's my understanding of what happened.
Your understanding is wrong.
Is there a reason that you refused to switch the engine off and to speak to the officer?
What officer stated that? The short Chinese Asian dude or the white man?
I don't know.
Well then you need to clarify that, please. That needs to be clarified. I would like to stop the interview until that's clarified.
Would you like further legal advice? That's the only reason.
I don't need legal advice. I would like that to be clarified because that doesn't make no sense. I was there. What you're saying to me doesn't make no sense. That did not happen. That's a false statement.
What did happen?
Our officer, this white man, King, yeah, 861 WW, yeah.
Okay.
And what was the other officer's number who he was with, please?
Another officer was PC Man, and he is 771.
Yes, Man, 771. 771.
That's the other officer.
Correct. Man and King, yeah?
Okay.
So he came to me first. I'm sure it was King. King's come to me and has tried to initially take keys out of the car. So I've grabbed them. I've grabbed his hand on my keys. Why are you touching my keys for? I've asked him, what are you doing? He said to me, He's issuing orders. At this time, I don't know who you are or what you're trying to do. So I'm not accepting no orders from anybody. It's my right I don't have to accept orders from anybody. Like, who are you? Tell me who you are. If we want to do business, then we can do business. We can talk like men. That show of force, I didn't appreciate. I will never appreciate it. So I've asked him on the record, as I was recording, I have the recordings on my phone, so the recordings will tell you as it happened, how everything happened. I asked both officers, are they acting according with the oath that they took to be police constables? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Blam. That's what happened. I don't know what they're trying to say I did or didn't do. Like, blam. I asked them if they're under their oath, that they swore, their affirmation that they took and swore to uphold common law of the land, and not enforce statutes, not to be a policy officer. Yeah?
Can I ask you a question?
I'm well within my rights to ask that. Blam. When I asked that, the king is not answering me. So therefore, he can't take my keys out of the car. I don't care if he's in uniform, he's telling me he's a police officer in uniform. I don't care. Okay. I've had so much things with the police that I don't trust nobody, especially police. Especially police. I've got a complaint outstanding that I cannot be notified as to what is actually happening. When I come to the police station to make inquiries about it, I'm given a fucking runaround. That's basically, I'm given a fucking runaround. Okay. Yeah? Well, so I don't trust the police at no time at all. I feel like my safety is
okay.
I feel my safety while I'm in custody right now.
The two officers...
All his attitude made me feel in fear and safety. I don't know who you are. Why are you dragging my keys for? And when I'm asking them if they're under their oath, they're not answering. They're not answering. Yeah? They eventually said yes. I asked for warrant cards. They didn't produce no warrant cards. They're dragging keys. He said to me, his words were, you asked me a question, I'm finishing. His words were, you are driving a motor vehicle that's registered to a lady and it could be stolen. Well, I said to him directly, I'm on the phone to my wife now, and I can give you her phone number, you can contact her, and she can confirm that the vehicle's not stolen. Yeah? Yeah? He's still trying to drag the keys. So I wound up my window, yeah, and took the key out and put it in my lap. Therefore, there's no controversy that I could be driving away because the engine's still running. I took the key out and put it in my lap, yeah, on the chair. Okay. Further, I would also like to have PC Man noted for and on the record, put him under the notice of the Fraud Act 2006, yeah, because I would like, I don't know where the vehicle is, I'm saying this now, I do not want police forensics, that I'm going to get independent forensic people to do a check on the left side, passenger side, window, because PC Man trespassed on my property, forcing his hand through the window, a very tight gap, very tight gap, very surprising that he got his hand through there, yeah, and then wants to say and accuse me of assault when he's cut his hand on the glass, and I know for a fact there's blood on the glass. There's no blood on my clothes anywhere, on no item of clothing, and they manhandled me, and he still couldn't get his blood on me. So therefore, the kind of cut he has, it's like somebody slashed him, 2 slashes. He got that through putting his hand through the window. I can actually see the mark where he's pulled back, and it's pulled back. It's just grazed his skin all the way through the window, and he wants to tell me that I've assaulted him. They want to charge me with assault. That is fraud, yeah? That is dereliction of duty, that's lying. I could go way further than that. But I like that noted for on the record, please. No, I will get the vehicle checked by independent forensic people, and then I will deliver all evidence that needs to be delivered to who, just so everybody can know that he's a liar. Fraudulent little bastard, sorry.
Sorry, my colleague will have acted professionally.
No, he didn't. Okay. Yeah, he didn't. I'm telling you now, that's not professional. Him, your colleague, do you think that your colleague dragging the keys out the car and he doesn't even know anything? He's actually professional. Go on, say yes. That's not professional. That's not his job. That's not the oath he took.
Today, that's why I'm talking to you.
But you're telling me that they will act professional and ask me a direct question, like, is that acting professional? Would you stop someone straight away and just drag their keys out the car?
The officers will have done what they felt necessary in the circumstances.
That's not professional. That's not professional. You even saying that is not saying that my officers acted professional, like what you just said.
My colleagues will have acted appropriately.
Appropriately, professional, that they're different words. Know what you're saying and know what they're doing.
If we come back to what you were just saying a moment ago, okay, you told me how the officers came up to the vehicle, how you've taken the keys out of the ignition, you've wound the window up, and you said the officer had reached in to remove the keys because you hadn't switched the vehicle off. By that...
No, he didn't even ask me to switch the vehicle off, so don't put it like that.
Okay, so I didn't ask you.
I didn't want it on record for that, like that. He did not ask me to do anything.
Can I ask you what he said to you?
He said to me to get out of the vehicle. That's the only thing he asked me to do. Yeah, clearly and unequivocally. He asked me, could you join me on the road? Both of them asked me that. And I asked them in return, am I obliged to do that? Yeah, am I obliged to do that?
Okay, and what happened then?
He attempted to grab the keys.
Was the engine still running at the time?
Yes, this did it straight away. So I put my hand on the key, said, what are you doing? You can't take my keys. I said, Mama, you might drive away. I said, well, I'm not driving anywhere. I've stopped for you. I've pulled over for you. Why are you doing that? I said, furthermore, are you under your oath? Are you acting under your oath? He said, yes. By this time, the PC man has squeezed his hand through the littlest gap on the passenger side and opened the doors. Now, King has run around. I've even got my keys out before that, actually. I've taken my keys out and put them on my lap. And man has somehow managed to get his hand through the window. King's run around and is dragging me by my throat over the passenger side. I said, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't committed no crime. Yeah? You're telling me you want to investigate a crime which hasn't even been reported. So why are you handling me so? He can't answer me. So I've said to him, let me come out the passenger side and talk to you properly, because you don't need to be doing this. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not trying to fight you. He's still dragging on me and has broken my spiritual beads that my grandfather gave to me on his deathbed. Yeah? Over 20 years ago. Do you know how angry I am for that? They're priceless. Yeah? All because of his dereliction of duty. That's a separate claim in itself, anyway.
So what happened when the officers were asking you to get out of the car?
They weren't asking, they're trying to drag me out of the car now. They've stopped asking. They're trying to manhandle me, which they have no right to do. Yeah? It's not reasonable force, it's assault. He's got his hand around my throat, around my neck, and breaking stuff, which is not his to break. Yeah? He even threatened to force entry to the vehicle. For what? And my windows are down, I'm talking to you. For what? I haven't committed a crime. I asked him, have I committed a crime? I don't know, mate. That's what we're trying to find out. So how about you take the assistance I was trying to give you instead of being so ignorant and aggressive?
So what happened then?
I refused to let him drag me over the passenger side, and as you can see, that he's told man to go around the other to my driver's side. Yeah, I'm not letting no one drag me out of no car, and I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not fighting anyone. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't committed no crime. I've broken no law. Yeah? But you want to drag me out of my conveyor. For what? So man has come round. Yeah? Man has come round to my driver's side, and I'm saying to King, after you've splashed my spiritual beads, and there's no need for this. You're being too aggressive. You've ripped my beads up, and there's no need for that. Let me get out the car, and we can talk. So, I'm taking his arm from around my neck, and I've got out the driver's side. Man is attempting to put me straight into handcuffs. I'm saying, what are you doing? Like, I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah? I don't understand why you're trying to handcuff me now. Now you're being arrested. For what? For what? I don't understand. I do not understand.
Okay. And what happened then?
What do you think? I'm here, aren't I?
No, I want to find out.
I was arrested,
exactly
innit?
What happened?
I was accosted. My rights were abridged from the edge for no reason. I'm not being told why I've been arrested. For obstruction. What crime did I commit? Obstructing what?
Obstructing an officer in the execution.
No, how did I obstruct him? Tell me how I obstructed him. When I'm telling him, if he wants to find out who the car belongs to, I can help him. Tell me how I'm obstructing him. Okay. When he stopped me, because he says, yeah, I'm driving a vehicle that belongs to a woman, and I've told him I can assist him in whatever he needs to know, how am I obstructing him?
Did you cooperate with
How am I obstructing him?
No, I'm asking you a question. Did you cooperate with his instructions?
What instructions? Am I obliged to cooperate with anybody's instructions that tells me to do something? Am I obliged to cooperate like that? Because you told me to do something, I must do it.
Right, okay.
I'm asking you a question.
No, that's right.
Am I obliged? Yes
you
or no?
are obliged to.
No, I'm not. I'd like to put you under notice. I'd like to put you under notice of the Fraud Act 2006 as well, please, because I'm not obliged by any standard or any means to cooperate with anybody that I do not consent to cooperating with, that I do not see fit in cooperating with them. If they're not doing their job first, why should I cooperate with them? And furthermore, I'm cooperating. So how did I obstruct? What was the obstruction? Yeah, he's not even doing his job, and I'm telling him I can help him to do it. So what is the obstruction?
Okay. I understand that the officer had made a number of requests of you.
Request? What is a request? You see what a request is?
He's asked you a series of
He's
questions.
asked me something.
Switch the engine
Yeah?
off.
It doesn't mean that I have to do it. It's a request. If I request you to do something, you don't have to do it. It's a request. You've just said it. For use of a better word, find a better word and tell me that I had to do everything he said. If you can't, on the record, you've said it's a request. I do not have to do anything that somebody else requests me to do. And I asked him, am I obliged? I weren't being ignorant. I weren't trying to stop him from doing his job. I'm trying to find out for myself where I stand in the situation. Because I like to have my rights are reserved, all rights reserved at all times. Yeah? So if he's making a request upon me, why can I not request the correct information to know if I even need to abide by these requests?
Okay. I'm not going to get into a debate about that. What I'm keen to
You're not going to get
discover,
into a debate about that.
What I'm keen to discover is what happened factually, one thing after the other this afternoon.
Factually, that's it.
From you. Okay.
That's
now
it.
what you said is one of the
assaulted
officers started to put handcuffs on you and told you were arrested. Okay. Can you tell me what happened after that?
Yeah, they can tell you what happened. I can even give you video evidence again. Yeah? I'm going to get the video evidence from one of the witnesses.
Can you tell me?
I don't feel like telling you, man. They know what happened. I was assaulted.
Okay.
I was assaulted. That's what happened.
Okay.
I was assaulted by PC King, yeah, and man, like raw. The doctor, like I said, the doctor came here and said, yeah, that he suspects that I should need an X-ray for my wrist. But he said his suspicion might be that it could just be a very bad bruise. Oh, now I've not gone to get no X-ray. He didn't even pass on the information. I don't know if he passed on the information about X-ray, because he's asked me, if the police ask me for a statement about what I've said to you, do you mind me giving it? I might have to give it in court or whatever. I was like, whatever, innit? Because I'm here under duress anyway. My rights have been fully abridged, and you're trying to coerce me into doing business with you. I do not consent. I'm not a part of it. Yeah? Blam. From the doctor, I can tell you that my wrist is in it's an X-ray, you know. An X-ray is very tender to the touch because of the assault, the nature of the way they put on the handcuffs. And I said to them at least 10 times at the scene, the handcuffs are too tight. The handcuffs are too tight. They're on my bone. The handcuffs are not set correctly. This is why I asked, man, why are you handcuffing me? What crime have I committed? What law have I broken? Why do I need to be put in handcuffs? If you're going to handcuff me, like, handcuff me to the front. I'm not fighting with you. This is all under duress. I do not want to fight with anyone. I would like to understand why I'm being oppressed.
Okay. Why did you refuse to let the officer put the handcuffs on you?
No, I did not refuse to put the handcuffs on. Do you understand? Do you understand what I just said? I didn't refuse. I asked questions, which I've got every right to do. Yeah?
I'll put it another way.
An officer cannot put handcuffs on me for no reason.
Why did you not give your hands to the officer so that he could place the handcuffs on you?
They both had a hand each. How can I not give them anything? Listen, my body parts are my body parts, not to be given to anybody. Yeah? And they had a hand each. Officer Man was in control of my right arm. PC King was in control of my left arm. What more do they need? Do you understand? What more do they need?
And did you...
what more do they need?
How did you move your hands in front of your body, behind your body?
My hands were always in front of me. I asked them, can they handcuff the handcuffs in front of me? And they said, no. Why not? Why not? Why do you have to feel that you have to rough me up, kick me in my back, knee me in my leg, to put handcuffs on me? And I'm not fighting with you. I've got witnesses that are even saying, like, why are you doing that? He's not fighting. He's asking you questions. I've got witnesses, and we'll be down to their house to get their statements too.
Where were you when this took
video
place?
Evidence as well.
Where were you when this occurred? Which part of the road?
It's in the road. In the road. In the road. I stepped out of the driver's side and they're manhandling me in the road. Yeah? Like they got no sense.
Did you struggle with the officers?
No, I did not. They struggled with me. Are you not listening? You don't get it, do you? Why are you repeating the question? They struggled with me. At no time at all did I tell them or show them that I'm not willing to cooperate with them. Yeah? They struggled with me. I don't think you got it. I've got witnesses that have recorded it. Yeah? I've got about 4 witnesses and one of them was recording it on his camera. Yeah? Like I said, I will be going to get that evidence and all their names and statements from them. Yeah? They also were stating clearly to the officers, why are you dealing with him like that when he's not doing anything wrong? Witnesses. Witnesses. I refuse to answer any more questions if you're going to keep repeating the same thing and try to... I don't know what you're trying to gain.
The officers... Yeah? There's a serious question I need to ask you about the reasons that you're arrested today. Okay? The officers, King and Man, who you're referring to, do you agree that they're police officers?
No.
Okay. What were they wearing? Can you confirm for me what they were wearing?
I don't know. I stand up on my right to not answer that question. You know why I don't agree that they're police officers? Because police officers are supposed to know the law. They don't know the law. Yeah?
Okay.
They're telling me about enforcing statutes. Are they police officers or policy officers? Do you know the difference?
I put it to you that the two officers were in full uniform in a marked police car this afternoon when on duty when they dealt with you. Have you got anything you wish to say about that?
Is there not such thing as fucking people getting police cars that are old ex-police cars and that ex-police vehicles and doing what the fuck they want with them? People, you can go and get a police uniform from a party shop, yeah? Which is why I ask questions that I ask to confirm who I'm dealing with, yeah? You might think it's a joke, but as a child, I've seen someone dressed up in a police uniform and splash someone's fucking brain on the curb, and it wasn't a policeman. So you think this is a joke? I stand by my right to check any policeman in uniform, not in uniform. They were making a joke about it out there when I got stopped, and my rights were being abridged by a bloody PCSO who does not know nothing, yeah? And the PCs that have come do not want to display or produce their warrant cards. They're in uniform. I phoned the police. I said send constables out here because these police officers are not showing me that they're police because they don't know the law and they want to make a joke about it today. They're making a joke about it. So there you go. There you go. I don't care. Uniform, non-uniform. Give me your ID, your name, your warrant card, and then we can talk. And let me understand what you are doing. What is your job with me today? What crime I've committed? What law I've broken? Then I know you're an officer. If you can't do that and you want to do bully boy, hands-on tactics, aggress me and assault me, is that what the police do? Is that what the police do? Is that what you're telling me that the police do?
I'm trying to get your account.
Is that what you're telling me the police do? You're telling me that they're police officers. I don't think they're police officers. I think they need to be retrained as to what a policeman does. A policeman, a constable, who's under his oath to uphold the law of the land. Do you get what I'm saying? According people equal respect and their fundamental human rights. Come on, man. They're not police officers. No, I do not think they're police officers for and on the record.
Okay. Yet you said you stopped for the vehicle, police vehicle.
Yeah, because it's flashing lights, isn't it?
Police vehicle.
It's flashing lights, isn't it? Let it go past me and do what it needs to do. I don't know.
So you agree that it was a police vehicle?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It looked like. Didn't you hear what I said? I said it looked like. Looked like. Yeah?
Looked like police vehicle.
Looked like.
Right.
Not confirming that it was anything. Because their behaviour doesn't confirm that they were anything.
Okay.
But ignorant people that do not know what they're supposed to be doing when they're carrying out the course of their duties.
Okay.
Assaulting people and stuff. Fucking ridiculous.
After you were arrested and conveyed to the police station.
I was conveyed to the police station.
In the back of a van, I understand.
I was conveying myself around, mate.
Okay. You were searched, and when you were searched, officers found a substance which they believed to be cannabis in your possession. What was that item they found?
It's better known as a hemp plant, yeah? A plant. It's a plant life, yeah? I do not understand what cannabis is, or what you're terming cannabis. If you have some kind of further information to prove that claim.
What did you call it?
A hemp plant.
Okay. And what's it used for?
It can be used for anything. You can make cars with hemp. You can make a bloody vehicle. Henry Ford in 1970 something made a vehicle out of hemp plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it a
version for
or
anything.
is it cannabis?
No,
Is
sir.
it marijuana or any
No,
other
sir.
term you wish to use for it?
No, sir.
Okay. And where
It's a
did you get it
hemp
from?
plant. It's a hemp plant.
Where did you get it from?
Stand upon my right to not answer that question.
Okay. How much did you pay for it?
You said I paid for anything, sir. I stand upon
I'm
my
asking
right
you
to
if
not
you paid
answer that question.
Oh, that's okay.
You're making
And
assumptions.
what were you intending to do with it?
It's a hemp plant. I told you what it does. It makes stuff. It was intended to make stuff with it.
What sort of stuff were you planning to make with it?
You can make anything with a hemp plant.
Okay.
So,
Were you planning to smoke it, consume it, inhale it, or any other version of those terms?
those things don't constitute making anything. So I stand upon my right to not answer that question. That's a bit silly. I thought I just said.
So you've told me that you wish to make something with it, but
Make something.
that could
Like
be
I
a
said.
cake, it could be a joint, it could be any range of things.
Well, if I make
I
a
was trying to
joint, it
clarify
constitutes
what-
smoking it. Like, well, I don't make joints. Yeah? A joint to me is music. Like, that was a banging joint. That's music. I don't know what a joint is. So,
Right. So you deny that you had cannabis on you this afternoon when you were searched at Wandsworth Police
it's a
Station.
hemp plant, mate. It's a hemp plant. You need to do some checks on it or something.
Okay, that's fine. A police officer is able to determine whether something is cannabis or not.
Yeah, right.
Um,
How would he do that without knowing the difference? The fine-tuned
Professional
difference?
expertise.
Professional expertise.
And that's why at
If you know
13:03 this afternoon they arrested you for possession of cannabis, to
anything.
which I understand you made no reply. and that's why,
Well, it's a hemp
I was
plant.
asking you
Doesn't make no sense.
what it is, what you were planning to do with it, how is it used, etc. Okay. So you deny it's cannabis is essentially is what you're trying to tell me, but you are saying it is a hemp plant. Is that correct?
Do you know what a hemp plant is, officer?
I'd be more than happy to hear you explain it.
I'm asking if you just know what it is, officer.
I said I'd be more than happy for you to explain it to me, what it is, where it comes from,
does that
how it's
constitute a
grown.
no? That you don't know what it is?
No, I'd like to hear your explanation. I'm specifically interested in whether it is a cannabis, which is a prohibited drug.
No, it's not. Hemp plant is not cannabis. Yeah? Skunk is cannabis. It's a green form of stuff. I don't know what you lot do with it or what the fuck you lot put on that shit there, but that is not cannabis. We need to look over again and check
Okay.
the standings. Hemp plants, cannabis, not the same thing. And we also need to be calm dealing with what laws have been broken. No crimes was committed here. No crime was committed here.
Okay. Right, I've asked, this is in summary, I've asked you a series of questions, okay, relating to the vehicle that you were driving.
I wasn't
Whether-
driving
hang on
a
a sec.
vehicle. No, can it be noted
Hang on.
on the record that I've said already? I
I'm
wasn't
going to ask
driving a
a
vehicle.
summary of the
I
questions
was
that I've
travelling
asked
in
you.
conveyance.
Okay. Was there anyone else in that vehicle at the same time that you were travelling in it?
If these are a repeat of the questions that we have already been through, I stand upon my right to not answer anything as
Okay.
a tenement to my freedom.
That's fine. I'm just doing a quick summary of the number of items we've discussed today, to give you an opportunity to clarify or to add anything to what you've already said. Okay. We've talked about the vehicle that the officer saw you driving, the number of roads that you went down, the licence that you do, or asked you about the licence that you hold, and whether you're displaying L plates and whether anyone else was in the vehicle and so forth. I've asked you whose permission you had to drive that vehicle, who owns that vehicle, and when they gave you permission to drive it. I have asked you what happened when officers were following you and whether or not you failed to stop for police when they requested you to stop, and whether or not you...
Can I ask you, what are the allegations today now? What are the nature of your claims? Like, is there someone to make a claim against me for something? Is there someone, an actual being, to make a claim against me for a crime I've committed against their person?
You've been arrested for a number of
I'm
criminal
asking
offences.
you, yeah, what are, like, who is to make the claim? Who is to make the claim? What law have I broken? Please be stated, because I'd like my freedom as expressly as possible. If we cannot be proved that I've committed a crime, or what the crime that I constitutionally breaking a law, not a statute, an act, is a legislative rule of society, yeah, a law that officers are supposed to be upholding, the law, yeah. You guys are number 3 in the pecking order, man. God, man, government.
That's okay. Our role is to investigate. The court's role is then to grant us...
The courts don't have no jurisdiction unless they are necessarily for a
Okay.
trial du jour.
Before I finish, just quickly,
Yeah.
that's a photocopy of the
Du
officer's
jour.
injury to his arm.
That's fine, that's fine. Like,
Did you
like,
cause
like I
that?
said, I told you what caused that.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I wanted to ask. Is there
I
anything
told
you
you what
wish...
caused that. He's a liar.
You said
And
he caused it
photos
by
were
putting
taken,
through his window.
no photos were
Okay.
taken of my injuries.
Okay.
As expressly
I'm gonna
as
ask
they taken
you-
photos of his injuries,
Right.
I said, can photos be taken of my injuries, and no photos have been taken. What they've tried to do is let my wounds go down, yeah, so they don't look as bad. So by the
Daniel,
time I get home to take my own photos, they don't look like nothing. So I'm going to go to the doctor, to the hospital, and get an X-ray of my arm, like Dr. Ganji
That's
said.
no problem.
You get what I'm saying? Because you
Is
guys have
there,
got my rights.
Daniel,
being
is there
abridged.
anything else you wish to clarify before I conclude this interview?
Clarify. You guys need to clarify what you're doing, what crime was committed, what laws have been broken. Please.
Okay,
I don't
well, we'll be
understand
seeking
why
advice
you're
from the
trying
Crown
to
Prosecution.
contract me into anything.
We
I haven't
will
done
be
anything wrong.
seeking advice from the
We'll
Crown
be seeking
Prosecution.
advice from the Crown Prosecution.
Right,
How
Daniel,
about the officer said he wants to... That's what I'm saying, you don't know what you're doing, man.
if there's nothing further to
No
add,
crime.
Daniel, I'm going to conclude this interview.
I would like to
Time-
add that I have asked for my copy of this recording as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's fine, and that
Like,
can be
put it
arranged
on the
for you.
record, expressly. No
The
come
interview
back.
has been concluded at 20 minutes past 7
Like that now.
on the same day, the 8th of January 2011.
Right,